What's good, people? It's your man DJ Shabbat, and BBV TV has a wonderful episode for you today. We're going to be talking about the silhouette and the Bussit challenge. Are you fine with your daughters doing these challenges? Then we're going to be talking about COVID-19 and the vaccines. How does the African American community feel about them? And lastly, the brothers get transparent and emotionally real on how brothers have been their keepers. Stay tuned for this episode of BBV TV.
BBV on your TV, Black Brothers View with GLG. BBV on your TV, Black Brothers View for the world to see.
All right, how y'all doing, everybody? Listen, that music had me moving, man. That's what I'm talking about. Listen, welcome to another broadcast of BBV TV, Black Brothers View. I am your host, DL Giron. I cannot do this alone and do it as strong as we do it. So we have some co-hosts here, and I want to let you know who they are. And hopefully you form a relationship and look for them every month and just to see what they got to say. These brothers are golden brothers, and they have views to share with you today regarding our three hot topics. So first of all, we have filling in for Derek Ficklin, who's not with us today, but who is also our co-host on call, none other than Chen. How's it going, Chen?
Going quite well. Happy to be here.
Quite well. It's our pleasure to have you, sir. Wendell Sims, how's it going, sir?
Going great from one king to another. Good to see you, man.
One king to another. Yes, sir.
All
yes,
of y'all. Good to see everybody.
None other than the one and only Derek Zachary. How's it going, bro?
What it do, folk?
What it do? Yeah, man.
Southside shouting.
Let's give it up for the golden 06 brother, man. None other than the Mark Peterson. What's up, man?
Man, just trying to walk between the sky and the earth without touching dirt anywhere in between.
The sky and the earth touching dirt.
That's interesting.
Yeah. All right. And then the one who takes us to the next level, none other than my son, my boy, my friend. Give it up for DJ Shabbat.
What's up, people?
That's good. Good to have you here, man. Okay. So we have three topics everybody to dig into right now.
So the first topic of discussion is going to be something that I don't know if y'all have seen go online, go viral, but it has been taking the internet by craze. Challenges such as the Bussit challenge, silhouette challenge. There's been some other ones. Now, what is so unique about these challenges? These are some provocative challenges, right? Men and women have been doing these challenges, and it's supposed to show their body, right? It's supposed to show what the blessings that God has given them. So today's question, the first question is, how do you feel about Christian women and even some men doing these challenges? And would you be comfortable with the women or the men in your life doing these challenges? And so we'll start off with Uncle Mark.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I saw the Bussit challenge the first time, the silhouette challenge. The first time I saw it, it was on a comedy skit. So I laughed, right? It was where this young lady did it and she turned into a demon and the boyfriend went crazy. And it was a joke. It was funny. But then someone sent me when I was like, whoa, what is this? This is what that joke was about. And I thought about it, and it's sad that everyone's doing these things for attention. People have been dancing like that for years. We know it, we understand it, but now we're putting it on camera. That's the way you should be dancing for your spouse, for your mate behind closed doors, not for everybody to see. Because the first thing about challenge, there's a reason that someone made this challenge, and people are falling for it.
Exactly.
Are they trying to audition people for new jobs? Human trafficking? It could be deeper than just a challenge, and people is falling into the trap. What about this challenge, this silhouette challenge? and you go on a job interview and the employer pulls it up. You putting that stuff out there. We as people have got to be careful about what we put out on the internet. You know, I thank the Lord to this day that some of the stuff I did back in college hasn't been recorded. It's on the internet, and I can deny it. But you know, it's crazy now, man. And you know, I think that we've got to be careful. And I was just reading how people are removing the red light filter on the silhouette challenge, so they can actually see what you didn't want them to see through video editing.
Wow.
So, you know, these Bussit challenges, silhouette challenges, I say to all the young ladies and all the young men out there doing this stuff, be careful. It's not worth your life, your future, your reputation if it gets into the wrong hands for some challenge.
Right. Exactly. Well, I totally agree with you. Mr. Uncle Wendell, what is your view on this?
Okay, I'm in agreement with what Brother Peterson stated. He outlined the risks of doing it. It gets into the wrong hands, it causes problems. The other thing is the purpose from which it's being done sounds like it's to gain attention. And so I think there's a deeper issue in many cases to be dealt with. Everybody needs attention. That's a human need and a human requirement. How we go about getting that attention is what poses the problem. As far as the second part of the question, or the second question of how do I feel about Christian women, or particularly those in my life doing that, I don't smile at it. I don't think it should be done. I would strongly advise against it. I do understand that people are grown. When they're adults, they have the right to do anything they feel like doing it, but just keep in mind that there are consequences to that. So pretty much I'm in agreement with what Mark Peterson said. I don't think it should be done, especially it shouldn't be mentioned amongst believers. The word Christians itself means be Christ-like. So
Exactly. Uncle Mark, did you? I don't remember. Did you say the part how you feel about women in your life, or Christian women and men doing these challenges?
I didn't touch upon that. You know, I would definitely hope that no one in my life would be doing this kind of stuff. You know, my wife, my 6-year-old daughter, Lord have mercy, my 6-year-old baby girl did this, we'd have some problems. You know, I don't thank God I don't have to worry about that. I hope, but nah, I'm kidding. But nah, it wouldn't happen. I pray it doesn't happen. The only time Christ was on a piece of wood when he was crucified. You know, Christ never on a pole. Come on now, let's stop this. Let's stop this foolishness. Let's not put it out there. I mean, people do things behind closed doors for a reason. Keep on Front Street for everybody to see and record and pass on.
How would you address or approach someone that you knew? You saw them doing this, you know, friend, cousin, coworker. Would you approach them, or would you just say that's them? I'm not going to say anything.
I would approach them and just ask them, you know, what is your intention behind it all? Right. As Christians, we're called to be purposeful in everything that we do. And so what is the purpose behind you doing this? Are you doing it to fit in? Are you doing it to get attention? Are you doing it to belong? And so whatever those reasons are, that's something that I would explore, because, you know, as we talk about with the two challenges that we're addressing, there's sexualization of that particular individual in the video. So what is the intent? What is the purpose?
The word of God tells us in Romans, you know, to be not conformed to the world, but be transformed by renewing our minds. What happens a lot of times, we have to look to see, are we as Christians being more conformed to the world, or is the world conforming more to Christ-like? Who's having the greater impact or influence on the other? And so, I don't know. If I were to see someone I knew, I guess it probably would depend on who they were, as to whether I would approach them or not. But I like what Chen said, because a lot of times when people approach you to, what was your intent? What was your purpose? Sometimes it helps them to look at what they did and to find out, hey, I'm doing this and I'm just following somebody else. I'm following suit, as opposed to understanding that they're doing something that could really come back and bite them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the bigger thing. Most of them don't really think about that. Most of them are doing it just for the likes and the subscriptions. So that's the bigger issue.
Yeah, that's a big thing. A lot of likes. How many likes can I get, as opposed to who's gonna like me later on when I need them to?
Exactly. This will be another topic for another day, but I don't know if y'all heard of OnlyFans, but a lot of people have been doing this thing called OnlyFans, and with this OnlyFans it's basically a personal porn, right? So everyone makes their own videos, and pictures. One of my concerns has always been your kids. If you're going to eventually have kids, you don't want your kids going to school and be like, hey, I see your mama, on some website. I wouldn't want that for my children. So
a lot of times people don't have conviction. It's good that we talk about stuff, but if you have no conviction, you're going to do what you're going to do anyway. And as much stuff is being put out in the media, people mimic what they see.
Mm-hmm.
So if I see it, I'm going to mimic it no matter what the consequence is, because the truth of the matter is grown adults are acting like children. And so when you got grown adults acting like children, what models do they have to follow after? Because it's the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm quick to shut my son down on a lot of things, but again, if he's going to do what he's going to do, he's going to do it anyway, no matter what I say, no matter whether they know right from wrong. But again, it's where your standard is. So if your standards say, I want to be like everybody else, that's what you're going to do. If you want to show flesh, you're going to show flesh. I see it all the time. And, growing up, I had my own moments. Hey, and I'm always real with my stuff. I used to be a stripper, but it wasn't for attention.
Mm-hmm.
I just like being in the midst of it, bringing that to people. But I also always reminded myself, what if my mama walked in? How would she act? Or and so it made me stop. But everybody don't think like that because it's quick money, real fast. And we're going to get these bills paid. Having those real moments and having those real discussion makes a change.
Yeah, that's some good stuff there. That's good stuff. But we have this tendency to, whatever the challenge is, you see people going at it. I've seen people do all kind of challenges, burning their bodies and, all kinds of stuff. If the challenge is put out there, we live in that kind of world.
Corinne Hawthorne did the challenge, but she kind of switched it up and did a little twist at the end. And instead of twerking, she pulled out the Bible. So I think the bigger message is, as Christians, we're called to a higher standard. Mm-hmm. But in a situation like that, again, her purpose was a little different than everybody else's.
And Shabak told me about that today. I haven't seen it. I do like that in the intent, from the aspect that that's a platform that people are watching. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to use this as an opportunity to get you what I got.
Exactly.
All right, so we're shifting gears a little bit to COVID-19 and its impact on the Black community. I know many of us know that the African-American community is disproportionately affected by COVID-19 because of pre-existing conditions in the African-American community. So what do you guys think about how our community is responding to the vaccine specifically? And we'll start off with Derek Zachary, since he's our medical professional.
One thing, I did a live about this. I think the one area is people don't get education like they're supposed to when it comes to vaccination, because you'll find out it's just not this particular vaccination, but it is all of the vaccinations that our community are not vaccinated on. They will start off with one and not complete the rest. And so it's not so much of underlying conditions. When you take care of your health, period, and follow up with the doctors, like you're supposed to do your annual every year, and your blood work, and follow up with the provider, a lot of stuff can be stopped. I've heard one pastor say, I'm not getting the shot because they're trying to inject me with some tracers in my body so they can trace where I'm going. And I'm like, in order to inject you with a microscope, listen, there are certain type of needles that's got to be used in order to inject something electronical into your system. But when you have those people that are influential to speak to different people, it puts in their mind, instead of people consulting with their primary care or their physician to say, what do you think? Because everybody has the right to choose what you want to do. But don't wait till the last minute and be like, oh, I should have got it and something happened or whatsoever. And I say that with any vaccines that people go through, that take time to know what you're getting, take time to study what you're getting, know the side effects, know that if you get a side effect or whatsoever, there's always a side effect with anything. For myself, I've gotten vaccinated because it was one of the requirements, part of my job. And because I deal with COVID patients or deal with just people in general, it's not just for them. It's just to protect myself, to help build up immunity. That does not negate that you cannot get COVID or anything. It's to help you fight against it better.
You've been finding that a lot of people, you may mention about the preacher, have been speaking out, influencing people against it, while you all in the medical profession is trying to get people out. How are y'all dealing with that?
I mean, it's some of the nurses and that's saying the exact same words. They're not getting the shot because of this, and because I've seen people come on and say, oh, I got Bell's palsy from it, or I got a stuttering from. Listen, when you have underlying conditions, anything you inject in your body is going to push the underlying conditions to the forefront. It does not say that it's that particular thing that caused you to be that way. And so when you put stuff out like that, you now cause a ripple effect to go on, and people take negative stuff and post it on social media faster than you put positive stuff that makes change and difference.
So it's not a mandate for all nurses, for all medical professions?
Yeah, I think
nothing is ever a mandate.
It's just available.
A choice.
Mark?
Well, put it like this. A lot of the older Black people, our parents, grandparents, have a genuine distrust for the medical system. So some of it is natural. A lot of it comes from improper information given to us about certain things, about just how Derek said about the pastor telling people about the microchips being implanted in you. People are going to listen to their pastors before listening to their doctors. I mean, certain people are going to do it. If you don't have any other source of information, who are you going to trust? As soon as my job asked me if I want to take the vaccine, I said yes. One, I've dealt with COVID twice. I'm not trying to go through this again. It was a no-brainer for me. I really think that a lot of people, we have to get the correct information out there, and we have to combat the improper information with factual information and be able to back up why someone is saying something that's wrong. We have to be able to show you why it's wrong, because as you know, most of us don't trust someone saying it's wrong unless you can show me why it's wrong.
Right.
And I think that's another problem, that we're just saying, no, you're wrong. And you've got people saying, I want to see why you're wrong.
Yeah, there are a lot of strong voices. And because of social media, I mean, people come in sounding very convincing, and it has caused people to become discombobulated. We don't get the full story on a lot of this information that is, shared into our hearing on social media. So is it ridiculous or is it responsible?
As we talked about a little bit earlier, there's, as Mark said earlier, there is this distrust in the African-American community. A lot of people make reference back to the Tuskegee experiments, where they had all these African-American men being tested over 40 years over the effects of syphilis, untreated syphilis, without even getting informed consent or their permission at all. So you look at things like that, you look at chemical testing on soldiers during World War II and how it affects African-Americans and other minorities, and you look at now. So I think the bigger thing now is that we have social media. We've got all this misinformation that's being put out there. Mm-hmm. But then again, you've got the Tyler Perrys of the world, the Barack Obamas, mm-hmm. Andrew Young, Hank Aaron, that are trying to put themselves out in the forefront and say, hey, guys, get your vaccination. Things are fine. But with Hank Aaron, when he passed away, that was the first thing that came to mind. He just had the vaccine 2 days prior, and they're saying, oh, it's the vaccine. So it's things like that where we have to come back and combat that misinformation and say, like Derek was saying, he had pre-existing conditions, many of them, as a matter of fact, that ultimately caused his demise. With all that being said, Wendell, are you getting a vaccine, or have you already had the vaccine?
I have scheduled to get the vaccine. I have not had it as of yet. And what I'm hearing is that our community, the Black community, to a large degree, have fear, ignorance, and misinformation as also a pre-existing condition, I call it. One of the reasons why I am approaching it in a manner that I will get the vaccine is I know my own physical body. I do ask questions. In fact, I write questions down when I go for my annual physical exam to ask the doctor, and I recommend that every person does that. Matter of fact, regardless of your ethnic background, you need to go to your doctor and have questions written down, because sometimes, if you go there with anxiety, right, you might forget, oh, I wanted to ask the doctor about this, and then it's not asked. I'll feel more confident in taking it when I get the right information from my own physician. I was reluctant to even get all these tests, these COVID-19 tests, because I'm not going to have just anybody, put in any swab or anything in me that I don't know. I don't know these people. Where is this coming from? What? So I'm part of that community. To resolve it for myself, I try to get as informed as possible. And so I think that's one of the maybe the remedies of getting more to take it, and then make an informed decision to take it or not take it.
They started doing testing up the butthole. They say that's more accurate.
They do rectally in China, actually.
Let me address that.
That's what they say. Let me see, misinformation possibly.
Are done for a specific reason. Only you find your best temperature in hidden places. That would be a mixed test, because that's dealing with fecal. Like any virus, it can be hidden anywhere. Again, it's going about making the right decisions for yourself. You don't have to have underlying conditions, period. And people are dropping dead. Being aware of information. Get wrong will call me in a minute and say, what do you think about this? I have to say this. Do not drive out of town to go find a vaccine. The vaccines are free. It is free through your insurance. There's no reason why people are paying thousands of dollars to try to get this vaccine by traveling to other states, trying to get something they think going to just help them and prevent them from getting stuff. It won't prevent you from not getting something. And so you're wasting dollar bills on something that is mandated to be free for the entire world.
So Zachary, before we move on to the next one, can you just clear this up here? If a person has a pre-existing, health concern, and they are weary about getting the vaccine because they feel like that could cause some harm to them, what do you say to that person?
I always tell somebody, talk to your medical doctor, because they will advise you on whether you should get it or have not getting it. And the first question they ask you, have you had a reaction if you've had a flu shot? Mm-hmm. If you've had a reaction to a flu shot, it is around that same virus strands that is in the injection. So they automatically say, well, you may not want to get this, but hence why they make Pfizer, Moderna. Different people are making, so people use different things in each one of them. And so what works for one company may not work for you, but another company may work for you. I've gotten the Moderna. I've heard people that have gotten Pfizer have gotten nauseous, sick on the second shot. The first shot was fine for them, but they got nauseous and sick. On the Moderna, some people got sick on the first shot and then get sick on the, so it it varies going back and forth. So again, whatever your underlying conditions are, consult with your provider. They will give you what to do in that moment.
We're going to go to the next topic. We know the word of God tells us that iron sharpens iron. We hear that we are our brother's keeper. You know, I am my brother's keeper. And to just look out for each other, to be about the interest of others. I want to ask you, how have you seen another brother stepping up to really make a difference in your life to help you?
I'll go first. Last year, I was freshman in college, and you know, different guys meet different friends and different people. And so I actually have two bros that I consider to be one of my best friends. You know, I can hit them up, and whatever I need, whether it's help me to go to a gig or just to talk, whatever it may be, I know that, you know, they'll try to clear their schedule and try to make that happen. And so it was actually one particular time where I was transporting my equipment from my vehicle to the vehicle I was using to my dorm. And so I hit up my roommate. I was like, hey, bro, at 4 o'clock, I'm going to need your help if you can to da 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 da. And so he was like, oh, man, I'm not going to be there or something like that. So I was like, all right, cool. Hit up my other bro. And I was like, hey, are you able to help me? Blah, blah, blah. He was like, yeah, no problem. And so actually, when I went to eat real quick before, you know, the time to transport, I ended up seeing my roommate in the cafeteria, just chilling. And he actually came to my table, chill with me. I'm like, okay, you know, I'm like, you know, it don't matter. So, you know, I was able to depend on my friend. And he showed me on just a number of different occasions how I was able to depend on him. The one that came through. So just those different little things show you how you can trust someone with a bigger issue, you know, if it's something that emergency. So, you know, that was the time that iron sharpened iron.
Chin. Oh, yeah. I wasn't ready for that.
Wasn't ready for that. You listen. Chin is usually everybody's Superman.
That's true.
So he wasn't dependent. I want to throw this at him. So how have someone stepped up, a brother stepped up and helped you?
I think the biggest thing. So my grandmother passed away earlier in last year, but because of COVID, we weren't able to have the funeral until this year. So I think the biggest thing I would point out is that prayer. The prayer, being able to reach out to a brother and say, hey, mentally, I'm thinking about this, and I need to be able to cope and get through this tough time in my life. Being able to do that and have someone that you trust and you can go to and not have to worry about anything after that, it's truly a powerful thing. So you want to have as many people that can love on you in your circle as possible, and being able to have that is truly a blessing.
So there was someone that prayed for you, a brother that prayed for you?
There was multiple, but Pastor G knows that he's one of them that I reached out for prayer. So even while I was in Nigeria, because it was an international travel, almost got stuck in Nigeria. So I texted a message and said, hey, I need to activate the prayer circle because I can't get stuck out here. I need to get back home.
Exactly.
But so he dispatched those angels for me along with the prayer circle. So anyway, I think it's important to have a person or persons that you can depend on, even if it's just for that little push that you need through prayer.
Exactly. Yeah. And sometimes it's definitely prayer. But I know he was at the airport one time, I think, and he was there about 8 hours or something.
Oh yeah.
And so I called up a couple people. We started a little game thing, you know, get his mind somewhere else.
Right.
But that's the least, you know, that can be done.
Mm-hmm.
All of you, I can tell different things. I can make mention of different things as to how you have impacted my life, how you have given me hope, and strengthened me. Okay, I can do that, but I'm gonna just focus on Mark Peterson right now and how in the midst of the pandemic and still trying to understand purpose and still trying to hear from God, still trying to move forward, you know, with everything being shut down and everything, just you get to a place of feeling helpless. And when the vision of taking BBV TV to this level, to the next level, when I was shared with Mark, he was ready. And I say to you, Mark, now, as well as to all the co-hosts, coming together, this is more than a platform of us talking. This is a vision that has manifested, but it encouraged me through the pandemic and moving forward, and it gave me that hope that I needed. It helped lifted me up. It kept me moving forward. And so that's what brothers do for each other, you know. But I appreciate all of y'all, and I can tell you all how you have impacted my life. Even Superman over here, and this little Superman right here.
Man, you know, I love all of y'all, man. It's just the fellowship, the advice. But on one particular occasion, I remember a real close friend of mine, actually, he was the best man in my wedding. He, a little over 7 years ago, I had the opportunity to bid farewell to my dad. And I had the responsibility and the privilege of speaking words of comfort during the eulogy. And just this little advice, I had him, Curly, I call him, to do the presiding because he's also a pastor. And he gave me the advice of go ahead and march in with the family, but don't sit there the whole time looking at the casket, because it would help if you just get that final viewing and then take your place in the pulpit so that you're not overcome with grief. And that little golden nugget helped me to just cruise on through the administration of officiating that homegoing, and having that kind of support in times of crisis, in times of loss, is what's important to having brothers. And this platform that I'm on now with you all is very rewarding, very encouraging to me, that my voice counts for more than just the congregation that I oversee, to more than just, you know, the family that I'm presiding over as head of household, but to others as well. And I want to be the person that always can make a difference in brothers' lives, because I understand the authenticity and the importance and the relevance of this kind of fellowship and this kind of broadcast, if you will.
I actually want to take the time to honor my nephew, Bob. He doesn't know it, but he has inspired me in many ways, because I see him always working behind the scenes, doing stuff, trying to make everybody better. That's an inspiration to me, because again, I'm a perfectionist with stuff. And so he actually inspired me to go back to school. So come March, I'll be back in school on the IT side of stuff, because again, that creativeness that I like to do. So I just keep doing what you're doing, keep blessing folks, keep inspiring folks. You're a great asset to the next generation that's coming, and even to the adults in the now season. So I honor you today.
Wow, I thank you. If you only knew some stuff that Dan and I was just talking about yesterday, yeah, I'm honored. I thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes.
And I would say you have very much been a inspiration for me, between you, Pops, you know, and all the other preacher friends, you know, just be able to see that close up spiritual leadership. You know, a lot of people tell me I should be a preacher. I don't know. But listen, just to be able to have a close relationship with God, you know, I've been able to see that spiritual walk from you and a lot of others. So I thank you.
Some things may not seem big, but they're important. Just to have an ear to listen to you when you're going through something, when you need that word of encouragement, sometimes that can mean the entire world to somebody. A lot of people, when they say, "Are you my brother's keeper?" they think you're automatically talking about monetary. Like, if I need some money, are you going to help me? No, man. Sometimes it's just that spiritual support, that prayer, that encouragement, that redirection. Sometimes we all need that. And I can definitely say that from our line, get Ron, that we are all each other's keepers in one way or the other. You the spiritual leader of the line, you're the pastor. We were a little rowdy bunch. We all had to be redirected in some shape, form, or fashion at one point. But we all kept each other in line.
Right.
We did some crazy things, but when we were getting too crazy, everybody stepped in to correct each other. And that's what we're supposed to do.
That's right.
Even to this day, I talk to some bros and say, hey, man, come on, man. We ain't got to do that. Or, you doing all right? Just hang in there. That's what we're here for, man. People talked about fraternities or bad or about the devilish things, but no, man, this is lifelong friendships,
That's right.
lifelong relationships. That's one of the best things I've done in my life, man. I can say that bond that we formed with that group of guys through that process is everlasting. I mean, Ron, that there was some guys that didn't cross over with us, but I still talk to those guys to this day.
Yeah.
Because of the bond that we have.
That's right.
At first it was about, well, you didn't make it. Well, no, man, look, for whatever, and we know the reasons why some of them didn't make it because they had real life issues to deal with, and they had important decisions to make. They couldn't finish the process. I still talk to them to this day. Talked to them last week.
Yeah.
What, 25 years ago?
I started getting teary over here because and I'm gonna go ahead real quickly and do this. Chin, I call him, and he comes, and when you have a lot of people pulling at you to encourage them, to lift you up, and when you're going through things, sometimes a brother just need another brother to say, I'm here for you, I'm here with you, or just ask you, what can I do? And I mean, he has been just superior with that. Zachary, if it's a prayer, there have been times we're just on the phone, just talking, and just even, I need to hear a song, I need worship, you go there, and that's what my spirit man needs. I need somebody who can connect, and just on so many other different levels as well, and Wendell, there have been days when I just needed a laugh, or I know he would call, and I would see him calling, and it's like I need that medicine right now. I'll pick it up, but when I hang it up, I'm feeling good. I'm still laughing. There's some people you hang up the phone, they got you feeling some kind of way, but I'm still laughing, and it's a good joy. When my father passed, Derek Ficklin, and all of you touch base on me. That was one of the hardest days in my life. The man in my life, my Superman, but all of these brothers sharpened me, and you kept me lifted. Mark made mention of our frat brothers, and Greg Pons all the way in California. When he called me, he said, I'm calling you late. This is after things was over. I said, man, you calling the right time. So just know, brothers, that as a brother in another brother's life, that brother may seem strong, might be strong, might appear strong. Don't think that he don't need a hug. Don't think he don't need a text or call to say, just thinking about you, I'm here for you, whatever, And this one here, oh gosh.
Need some tissues.
So, it's a wonderful thing when you can give, I didn't give birth, but
well,
help the process.
I mean, you release.
And when you can pray and believe God for such a son, but someone you pour into to build them up, and that same one turns around and builds you up, with whatever you're doing. Right there beside me when my dad passed, I was in the room and I would come out, and there he was, and Jeremiah was right there to embrace me. They were there to attend to me, to help me be strong so I can go be strong for everyone else, Chandra was up there, just that kind of community of brotherhood. Understand, I get it when we come here, and I get it in my individual lives with you. And brothers, I say to you, you're never alone. If you need me, call me. While you're driving, while you're at work, while you're sitting at the airport, while you're whatever, just need someone to talk to, call. We're here for each other. And I thank God for that. And so, sorry about that, y'all.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you, our audience, for joining in to BBV TV. To all your brothers, all your sisters, our goal is to give you brothers, Black brothers, sharing their perspective on different topics in their life, to help other brothers and those that love them, just to help build up our lives, make all of our lives better. Give us another way of thinking about some things. Amen?
Amen.
All right, so have a good one. And I want to give a shout out to Shabak and Rayshawn Carlson with his new jam, our theme song. All right, go ahead and jam to it, y'all.
This is your main man, the Gemini with the vibes. DJ Shabak. And you're tuned in to the finest show in Atlanta, BBV TV, with your host, DL Gidron.
BBV on your TV, Black Brothers View with DLG. BBV on your TV, Black Brothers View for the world to see. BBV on your TV, Black Brothers View with DLG. BBV on your TV, Black Brothers View for the world to see. Black brothers with something to say, sharing the views of the world today. Topics with different perspectives, keeping it popping and always respected. YouTube is where you find Black brothers sharing their mind. Get a view from the other side. Just share, like, and subscribe. From fathers to teachers, from brothers to preachers, yeah, this what we need it. The world wanna see ya. Sit in the bleachers, but we need some leaders. From Martin Luther King to Malcolm X, we gotta do it for the next generation, counting on us to not just sit on the back of the BBV on your TV, Black Brothers View with DLG. BBV on your TV, Black Brothers View for the world to see. BBV on your TV, Black Brothers View with DLG. BBV on your TV, Black Brothers View for the world to see.
Thank you for taking the time out to watch this amazing episode of BBB TV. If you enjoyed this episode, please take the time to share this on your Facebook, your Twitter, your Instagram, chat room, whatever. And also, please make sure that you click that subscribe button below and click the ding notification so every time you hear the ding, you know that we are on. From DL Gidron and the cast of BBB TV, we thank you for listening to the Black Brothers View.